Greetings, original, detached, scientific Aquarius. My name is Eliane Nicole. I'm an astrologer and tarot card reader, and now I'm going to do the September 2020 forecast for the sun sign of Aquarius, or you can also watch this if you have an Aquarius moon or rising. And I'm going to start with the tarot reading, and then in the second half of the video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the planetary transits for September and how those will affect Aquarians. And yeah, watch the videos for your sun, moon, and rising to get the broadest scope. But of course, contact me directly for your own personal reading to really kind of get into the nitty-gritty of it all. It's fascinating. So as we enter the month of September, Aquarius, you have the sun. You look very happy. Happiness, joy, fulfillment, enlightenment. It could be a good time with your partner that's happening at the beginning of the month. And we see a man is on the move. He's ready to go. He's ready to move, take action. And we're crossed by a woman. The woman is very sexy and creative and maternal and fertile. And the basis of the situation is the Three of Pentacles. So this is taking some time off of work, perhaps. What's leaving is a man being out of alignment romantically or creatively. What could come into being? It looks like you could be second-guessing yourself about something around mid-month. What will come into being? Everything is going to work out fairly. If you're in a legal situation, it looks like it will literally, go in your favor around mid-month. But if you're not in a literal legal situation, this could just be a more figurative expression of a situation in your life working out fairly. Fears or insecurities have to do with communication in a situation involving more than two people. It could be someone is triangulating. It could be that somebody is, wielding power by withholding communication or something like that. Others see you as the Ace of Rods. It looks like you have a new offer or a new opportunity. This could be a new job offer, or it could just be a new start of any kind. Yeah, very positive. Your positive feelings are the Five of Cups reversed. So it looks like you feel positive about gratitude and about, there was something that you were disappointed about that maybe you spent some time kind of mourning over, but now you are ready to turn around and salvage what is great about the situation, what is still there. And so this is a place of gratitude for Aquarius towards the end of the month where you're feeling very positive about that. And then the outcome is the Nine of Cups. I love when I see the Nine of Cups, Aquarius. It means that your wish is going to come true. However, it's reversed. So this means that there's a delay in the timing. So it's not in the time you want necessarily, but your wish is on the table, Aquarius. So whatever that is, I'm very happy for you to see this. Now, planet-wise, as we enter the month of September, September 1st is the full moon of Pisces. The Pisces full moon, full moons in general, they illuminate, they highlight the area of the chart where they emerge. For Aquarius, it's emerging in your second house. That's the house of money and resources. And so, Pisces is very emotional. It's very intuitive, very psychic, very creative and artistic. There's also, there can be escapism and fantasy and illusion with Pisces too. So any of that energy could come around the area of finances and resources around the first of the month. Also, this full moon is forming a sextile with Uranus, which is in your house of home. So there could be a surprise, something unexpected, a pleasant surprise, perhaps, in the house involving your home and your finances and resources. It could be your mother and your finances and resources. It could also be having to do with, land or real estate or wealth. It could have to do with ancestors, roots. All of that is fourth house stuff. Anyway, that's the full moon. Then September 2nd through 4th, there are a couple aspects happening. Mercury is forming a trine with Saturn, and Mercury is forming a sextile with Venus. These are positive mercurial aspects. Mercury right now is in the sign of Virgo. It's exalted in Virgo. It's at home in Virgo. Mercury is the planet of communication, so it's how we think, how we learn, how we speak. And so Mercury being in Virgo, it operates very efficiently there. For Aquarius, the trine with Saturn, this is good for communication around work. And for Aquarius, it is landing in your 8th and 12th houses. So it looks like something to do with 8th house issues, which could be, other people's money, inheritances, loans, debts. It could have to do with death, rebirth, regeneration, sex. Also 12th house stuff. So there's a lot of, the 8th house and the 12th house are deep houses, Aquarius. And so I think that you have some work to communicate regarding some pretty deep issues, and that's going to be coming up for you around this time. Also, Mercury is forming a sextile with Venus in Cancer, and so I think that there will be communication, possibly around, hopefully good news around the health of your romantic partner, possibly, or just good news around health for you. And yeah, so that's happening. And then September 3rd, in the middle of that, Mars is forming a square to Saturn and a square to Venus. And so this brings up communication issues. And again, it brings up your 12th house. So the 12th house is the house of hidden karma. And there's a lot going on in that house for Aquarius in the month of September. Or, well, there has been all year. With all of these planets in Capricorn, it's been a very 12th house year for Aquarius. And the 12th house is about confinement. And it can be about solitude. It is a house that rules jails, monasteries, hospitals. It rules mental health. It rules, I think of it as a very spiritual house, because 12th house experiences tend to get us in touch with our deepest selves. And so that's kind of been the tone of the whole year for Aquarius. But in particular, this aspect is stimulating that. The aspects I've been talking about around the 2nd through the 4th. And it's stimulating communication around that. The 12th house can also be your blind spot. It can also be repressed things, so things that you don't see. But it looks like you're going to have to be communicating about those things. It could be things, too, that we try to avoid, and if it's, and then sometimes when the 12th house comes up in our chart, it may not directly relate to us, but it can relate to people around us who are dealing with, jail, hospitals, confinement, or, mental health issues or anything like that. So I've seen the archetype express itself both ways, and that's why it's always best when I work one-on-one with a person, because we can kind of identify and then take it from there. But yeah, so that is happening. And then September 3rd, in the middle of that, I talked about that. So there's pleasant aspects and tense aspects. Let's move on. September 5th, Mercury enters Libra. When Mercury enters Libra, that is a trine energy for Aquarius. So this is going to be a very talkative time, a very social time. Libra is in your house, your 9th house. So you're going to be talking about very, spirituality and religion and culture and traveling, and you're going to be, maybe talking about, cross-cultural experiences. Possibly you're going to be talking about publishing and broadcasting. things of that nature. It's also a good time to be writing, any kind of creative writing you need to do. And so Mercury will be there until the 27th. So the 5th through the 27th is really, that's a nice little pocket for you, communication-wise. And on the 12th, still on the 5th, Pallas is going direct in Capricorn. This is in your 12th house. So this is the first step in the 12th house stuff starting to reveal itself more on an outward level. I think it might have been kind of just brewing beneath the surface for the past 4 months. But Pallas Athene going direct is going to be the first step in there being like you or whoever the 12th house represents for you making an outward chess move in that department, in the area of life. And that will be followed throughout the month by Jupiter and then Saturn. And so you're going to start to just see movement in that 12th house area now. And what else? September 6th, Venus enters Leo. That's going into the 7th house. So this brings attention to your relationship, and this will be, being very affectionate with your partner, and being very warm with your partner. This could be, your partner needing a lot of attention, or you feeling that you need a lot of attention from your partner. Things like that will be happening. And September 7th and 8th is also Venus sextile Mercury. So that's very pleasant and romantic communication with your partner, possibly about, your spiritual connection, your higher truth. Maybe you're setting aspirations to travel together, or maybe you guys are just exploring things together on a more metaphorical level. But that's a nice aspect. September 9th, Mars is going retrograde, and that is the aspect of the year. In an already intense year, this Mars retrograde period from September 9th to November 13th is definitely the hottest spot of the year. And for Aquarius, that is happening in your house of communication. And so now that third house is the house of communication. That's what it's most often known for. It's also the house of siblings. It's also the house of neighbors. And so it can manifest for you on any of those levels, individually or multiple levels at a time. The third house we also look at for school. And so it's like elementary school and high school. So if you are an Aquarian who has children in elementary or high school, or if you happen to be a high schooler watching this, who knows, it would be applying to that. It could be applying to that also. And so there's a lot of action in that house, which is why I wanted to take the time to tell you all the different archetypes that kind of live in that house. And so wherever this Mars retrograde is happening in our charts, we are getting a master class in that area of our life. And for you, it's the third house, these topics that I just described. September 10th, the Sun is opposing Neptune. For you, that is an 8th house and 2nd house thing. So this is interesting because this is about you and your money and your partner's money. And there could be some illusion or deception or something, vagueness, lack of clarity, something like that in the area going on. There could be something could come up about that possibly. It might just be brewing underneath the surface though, because sometimes Neptune is like that. It is like affecting things psychologically, even though we're not seeing it on the outside. And September 12th and 13th, Mercury is in an Antisha with Neptune. And that's bringing together your 9th house and your 2nd house. And this could also be some kind of, things could be communication is vague, unclear at best, deceptive at worst. You know, this can also be, you know, kind of like visions and dreams and ideals. You know, there's always such a fine line. But September 12th, Jupiter goes direct in Capricorn. So this is your 12th house. And so there should be some, for those of you who were doing the internal expansion work around these 12th house issues for the past 4 months, that all of these planets in Capricorn have been retrograde in your 12th house. Those of you who've done the inner expansion work, meaning you're doing the meditation, you're doing the journaling, you're doing the educating yourself and learning, you're doing the spiritual dedication and rituals, you will start to see reward, some reward for that. It's not going to be something, you know, probably big and amazing. And I'm not saying that it won't be. I'm not trying, but I'm saying Jupiter's in Capricorn still. It's in its fall. However, there's going to be hope. There's going to start to be forward movement. There's going to be some kind of outward kind of grace that will be received in exchange for the work that you've done in this area. It's a dark area. It's a tough area. You've been dealing with it all year. And this is particularly for the Aquarius rising personality, by the way, although Aquarius sun is going to probably relate to this too. And let's see what else. September 17th is the new moon in Virgo. This is emerging in your 8th house. The 8th house is the house of sex, death, rebirth, regeneration, transformation, elimination. So set intentions around all of that stuff. New moons are incredibly rich and fertile soil to plant the seeds of intention that we want to manifest. And so for the new moons, we plant the seeds of intention for the house that our new moon falls in, combined with the themes of that new moon. So I just ran through all of the 8th house topics and then the Virgo topics because it's the new moon in Virgo. Virgo is all about self-improvement. It's about purging. It's about cleansing. It's about detoxing. It's about decluttering. It's about organizing. It's about setting intentions for anything in your life that requires attention to detail. And it's also, Virgo rules the digestion health-wise. So if you need to set any intentions around that, you can do that with the Virgo full moon. And also, I mean, new moon, we're talking about the new moon. And also with the Virgo new moon, I think it serves us to set intentions about just not being too critical of ourselves or others. And September 20th, Mercury is square Jupiter. This could be good news for, this is for you, it's combining the 9th house and the 12th house. So this is something about, I don't know, this could be a spiritual message, some kind of a communication of a philosophical or spiritual nature that challenges you. This could be arguments about belief systems with, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to keep going. I don't want to get stuck there. See, it's difficult for me to talk about these Aquarius things just in a quick video right now because the 12th house is a little bit more complex and deeper than that. And so I encourage Aquarius to contact me for a direct reading right now. It's a good time to work one-on-one with an astrologer. But September 20th, Juno enters Scorpio. And so this is a time of connecting very deeply with your spouse. If you were married, Juno in Scorpio is entering the 10th house of career and enterprise. You know, for those who work with your spouse, you know, you may be working on something that's prominent. For those who are not married, you might meet your spouse through your work during this period. And for those who are married to your work, it looks like you will be going deep with that during this period. And Juno will be there for the rest of the month and into next month. But when I do the October update, we'll talk more about that. September 20th and 21st, Mercury is forming a square with Pluto. This could be secrets coming out. This could be resentments that are happening. This could be, things coming out. So this is again the 9th house and the 12th house for you. So this is the house of spirituality, religion, higher truth, philosophy, but also travel and cross-cultural experiences, also publishing, also broadcasting, with the house of hidden karma. So September 22nd, the sun enters Libra. It's the fall equinox. This is a time of balance. This is a time of year where we reap what we sow. The Libra sun is trine Aquarius. In general, Aquarius and Libra energy is a harmonious flow. This will probably be a very social time. This will be a time of a lot of thinking, a lot of talking, a lot of learning for Aquarius this month of September 22nd through October 22nd. And September 23rd is a big day. Mercury is forming a square to Saturn, and Saturn is square Mars. And so this is the 9th house, the 12th house, and the 3rd house. And these issues have been brewing for you all month now. It's the house of those kind of higher philosophical, lofty things combining with the house of hidden karma, combining with the house of communication. Sometimes the 3rd, 9th house axis is higher education versus, high school, grammar school education. Sometimes the 9th house, 3rd house axis is your neighborhood versus out there in the world. But the 12th house is the hidden karma stuff. The 12th house can be the mental health stuff. The 12th house can be the confinement stuff. So, it's hard to talk about in a general reading, but I'm sure that as you listen, you probably know which of these topics it's kind of hitting for you. That's the advantage I have of working with someone one-on-one, because I can talk about it and then we can follow the thread, But September 24th, Mercury is going into the pre-shadow of retrograde. And now we already talked about the Mars retrograde, which is a whole separate thing, a whole separate planetary energy with its own issues. Mercury is the one that most people are more familiar with. Mercury is the planet of communication, how we speak, how we think, how we learn, how we listen. And it is in the pre-shadow of retrograde as of September 24th. This is very, very important because I want to impress upon everybody to please get your mail-in ballot and get your vote in by this date. And I recommend actually physically dropping off your mail-in ballot somewhere rather than you using the postal system. However, Mercury is going to be retrograde the 3 weeks leading up to the election, and then it stations retrograde the day of the election. The last time this happened was in 2000. In 2000, we found out that we got news that Gore was president, and they told us Bush was president, and then there was this long count. And so planetary-wise, we are having a repeat of that kind of thing. And so definitely before the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde, deal with your voting situation. And let's see. And then finally, September 27th, Mercury enters Scorpio. And when Mercury enters Scorpio, it's entering your 10th house. And so during this time, while Mercury is traveling through Scorpio, I think that there's going to be a lot of conversation around, Scorpio kind of themes and your profession. So it could be, talk about money, talk about, power, talk about reinventing yourself. It could be also doing research for work or anything that requires, digging, going deep. This is for people who work as an analyst. Mercury in Scorpio in the 10th house is very much like a professional you know, psychoanalyst kind of thing, or a professional detective, you know, things like that. So that's towards the end of the month. It could also indicate just very deep discussions around your career and attainment. And for those of you who don't have a career, the 10th house is whatever you are known for outside of your home. So, I mean, you know, if you're a mom, then you're a mom. If you are, you know, you do community work at your church, then that's your, you know, it's how you're known in the place that you participate outside of your home. And sometimes rather than work, it can be your calling, you know, what you're called to do in the world. So 10th house is any of those things. And then sometimes 10th house is the father. It can show up as the father too. So anyway, that is the update for Aquarius for September 2020. If you like this video, give me a like. If you didn't like it, give me a don't like, but I hope that you liked it. Please follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.eliannicole and join my community there. I give more regular updates throughout the month, daily and weekly, and that's to add to these readings that I give here and just give you more information and more details. And it's better, it just is good for you, a good way for you to learn about the astrology and tarot and how it works. And I don't know if I already said subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already, please do. Please hit the notification button so you can be notified when I post a new video. And what else? Please share this video with other Aquariuses that you know. And please have a wonderful September, Aquarius.